Welcome back to Closing Arguments. We turn our attention now to day 2 of the widower murder trial. 68-year-old Thomas Randolph is accused of murdering his 6th wife and his handyman, a man police say he hired to be the hitman to kill his wife. Now, Randolph was convicted for these same crimes back in 2017 and was sentenced to death. But ultimately, the conviction was overturned because of some evidence the state was not allowed to put in. Now, a lot of the controversy surrounding the widower comes from the mysterious deaths of many of his wives, 3 of whom he's been suspected of killing for insurance money, but never been convicted. He was the focus of a Dateline series titled The Widower, so the nickname kind of stuck. And in that series, he infamously demonstrated what he said happened during the shooting. Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter has more for us on today's biggest developments.
Good evening, Julie. The prosecution's case has now moved into testimony regarding the night of May 8th, 2008, when Sharon Randolph was fatally shot by an alleged hitman, and then that hitman shot by the defendant, according to prosecutors. To set the scene, they first called a neighbor who testified about observing the Randolphs arrive home that night, pull into their garage, but then just seconds later, he heard gunshots.
I heard gunshots.
Coming from what direction?
From the 65-17.
How many gunshots do you hear?
3 rapid gunshots, like bang, bang, bang.
Okay.
Then a little pause, another shot, a pause, another shot, pause, shot.
Mark Bartlett was on the phone at the time of the gunshots and noted that police didn't arrive until 20 minutes later. Prosecutors say it took Randolph 12 minutes to call 911, insinuating he had time to stage the scene, something Mark agrees with.
And they tried to ask you, well, why didn't you call the police?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't hear no screaming, and like kids all the time, you know, play around, so I just figured fireworks or something.
The delay, what do you think he was doing?
He was trying to clean up, cover his tracks. That's what he was doing, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Earlier in the day, the state called more of Sharon's friends to testify about their concerns with Sharon marrying the defendant and their fears he was trying to hurt her, and how Sharon was unhappy leading up to her death, wanting a divorce and even going behind Randolph's back to make a will, leaving everything she owned to her daughter, not her husband. Plus, they noted Sharon's distress over her husband having a girlfriend. This mistress, Lizzie Labrador, also testified today about urging the defendant to choose between her or his wife just a couple of months before Sharon's murder.
I got very tired of it and told him it's not going to work anymore for me. He needs to make a decision.
Okay, so you give him an ultimatum.
Yes. He said he was going to go out and deal with Sharon so we could be together.
The day culminated with the jury leaning in, watching the defendant on video at the police station just hours after the killings, describing to police casually what happened when he found his wife shot to death. And coming up tomorrow, Julie, this jury will continue to hear the defendant's own words as the prosecution plays the video of the defendant walking detectives through the crime scene not long after the killings. For now, though, I'll send it back to you.
Our thanks to Chanley Painter for that report tonight. Let's bring back in our think tank and talk more about this case. Still with me, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Al Wunsch III, criminal defense attorney Darnell Crossland, and family law attorney Jennifer Brandt. Okay, so what I want to know is, does this guy have a chance at round 2? Not looking at the prospective death penalty. Prosecutors aren't pursuing it. They say he's too old to go for that. So that's a big win for his defense team right out of the gate. But does he have a chance? Darnell Crossland, let me go to you, please, tapping into your criminal defense experience. What do you say?
Yeah, well, no matter what the case is and how bad it looks, the prosecution must prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And when I look at the beyond a reasonable doubt chart, there's a lot of steps before you get there, such as maybe he did it, it's likely he did it, he could have done it. And that's the space that we find ourselves living in, but we have to get beyond a reasonable doubt. So I would say this, I tell all my clients, it's a 50-50. Because the minute you think you have no case, you come back with an acquittal. You think you have a great case, you come back with a verdict that's guilty. So I would just say keep hammering away, keep raising doubt, and hope it goes your way.
Yeah, he has some good attorneys. They're really being excellent advocates for him. They've got some big wins going in terms of what cannot be presented to this jury, so the jury can't know about round number 1, can't know about his second wife and how he went to trial, accused of her murder, was acquitted on that one, but still went to trial. And we know that there is this alleged motivation of money being the factor, the MO in these instances. They can't know about that either. Al Wunsch, what do you think? Should the prosecution be worried at all here?
Well, I think that the mistress is going to be pretty damning testimony with regard to the fact that she gave him an ultimatum and he said, listen, okay, I'll take her out and then we'll be together. So I think that that's kind of a pretty strong witness with regards to this matter. And I don't think that the prosecution really has anything to worry about. I think if they had anything to worry about, they would be negotiating some sort of a plea bargain on it. I think that they have a fairly strong case. I think that there was a mistake done in the first case, which was rectified by the appellate division, which rightfully so. They should not have used an acquittal as a springboard to prove that he did it in this instance. But I really do think that the prosecution has a strong case on this guy. I don't think it's going anywhere but guilty on all counts.
I'm with you, Al. I'm with you. I was watching him in that interview tape we were looking at late this afternoon, early this evening. All I could think was pants on fire, Thomas Randolph. I have another clip. This is not a pants on fire situation. This is one of the most compelling witnesses for the state. The first witness called the victim's daughter, Colleen Byer. I want to take a look at some of the testimony. And Jennifer Brandt, I want to come to you on the other side. Here we're going to see a little bit of her on the witness stand, and then she spoke to Court TV afterward.
How is it that you learn of your mom's death?
Friday morning, a friend of mine named Tony called me and said she was watching the news and there was a shooting on Rancho Santa Fe, and she knew that was my mother's street.
After you talk to your mom's friend, do you make a phone call?
Yes.
Who do you call?
I tried to call my mom again. I've been trying to call her all morning.
Did you reach her?
No.
Who did you talk to?
I think I called Randolph next.
And did you have a conversation with him?
Yes.
What did you say?
I said, what did you do to my mother?
And what did he say?
He said, Michael shot and killed your mother. And then he just hung up on me. I'm really worried.
Why are you worried?
Because he's an evil man. And if he does get out, he'll find another victim. Number 7. He will. No doubt in my mind.
Oh, wow. Wow, powerful words from the victim's daughter. Again, her name is Colleen Byer. Jennifer Brandt, want to go to you on that point. I mean, it is a possibility. We know this case could go either way. If it's an acquittal and he goes a free man, is the public in danger? Your thoughts, please.
Well, I think so, but I don't think he's going to go a free man, especially after you hear this, the daughter and her testimony. You know, having to hear her mother is married to this man, and the fact that he doesn't call, he doesn't notify her. If he was that distraught about the death of her mother, his wife, you'd think he would have reached out to her daughter. So that in itself, the fact that she had to hear this through the news and then the words that she reported he said to her, that combined with all the other evidence that we've heard about and the other testimony from the mistress, et cetera, I think it's looking pretty bad for him and pretty strong for the prosecution. So not too worried about him being a harm to the public, but given his track record, yeah, it's pretty scary.
Yeah, his track record is not good. A very bad reputation. Yeah, the widower. He's a piece of work, too. The way he demonstrates in that video. He likes to tell stories. Tell me, Al, do you think that he's going to take the stand and testify?
Well, that's a tough call. He might have to, in light of the video that they have of him. But that's, I've got to wait to see what the rest of the prosecution's case looks like before I could really make that decision. I mean, I don't think he necessarily has to. There really is enough of him testifying via video and television shows.
Right.
And he loves to give any chance to tell a little story. But it's going to be how strong the case is, because he's got nothing to lose. I mean, in this situation, he's not looking at the death penalty. If he's going to go down, he might as well go down swinging. So maybe he's going to take a shot, literally.
No, I feel like he might. I just think he's a character. He seems to me like he's kind of enchanted by the sound of his own voice when he goes through all the details of the shooting. And if he's saying self-defense with this intruder, I feel like it's a strong possibility, but we shall see. We will leave it there for now. But again, this is one of the trials we are bringing to you live on Court TV all day long, the widower murder trial happening in Las Vegas. We're going to hit a break right now, but coming up next. On the docket, Greg